Check 1 2 check.
Good morning, everyone. Can you take your seats or not take your seats? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the Ken Carney, Lorain County Engineer, for sponsoring this, and the college for helping put all the communication stuff together. All the speakers will be Zoom. I was told a microphone will come around to you, but do not speak until the microphone comes to you to introduce yourself. That way the Zoom camera can get on you. So everybody understands that one. I hope, like I told Virginia, all I can do is mess it up. So we'll go from there. Can we have the introductions, please? You got your mics? Jose is going to be walking around with the mic.
Matt Hassel, Adaptive Engineering Group.
Josh Bender, Lorain County Community Development Department.
Natasha Cressup, Lorain County Community Development.
Tracy Green, Lorain County Community College.
Bill Holtzman, Larry Township Trustee.
Tim Van Dyke, Leary Township Trustee.
Carl Wiesmeyer, Grafton Township Trustee.
Reese Dutton, Lorain County Community Development.
Sharon Pearson, Lorain County Mobility Manager at United Way.
Oh, Tony Mealy, City of Oberlin.
Matt Lundy, Lorain County Commissioner.
Kristen Peterson, Oberlin City Council.
Betty Blair, retired Lorain County Commissioner.
Tony Abram, Avon Lake Regional Water.
Carol Cornelius, Village of Kipton Council.
Michelle Hung, Lorain County Commissioner.
Rob Duncan, Director, Lorain County Community Development.
David Moore, Lorain County Commissioner.
Neil Lynch, Amherst Township Trustee.
Jennifer Kiko, Congressman Bob Gibbs' office.
Brian Jensen, Mayor, City of Avon.
John Hunter, Mayor and Safety Director for the Village of Sheffield.
Kevin Corcoran, Mayor of North Ridgeville.
All right, one other thing. My name is Dick Heinecker. I'm Columbia Township Trustee. Could I have the other board members please just stand? Because we put very short people. Come on. And Virginia was the one who put it all together, so she should get a round of applause, but she's working in the back. All right, first thing on the agenda, we need election of officers for this coming year and to carry us into next year. So, Carl? Oh, we got Stan now with a microphone.
Ready? I'd like to make a motion that we retain the same individuals for all their positions. Just
I will second that motion.
Motion and second. Any other board members, the current board members, okay? That, Mayor? Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. Well, I hope we don't have to skip a year like we did last year. The first speaker, I believe, is Robert Weaver. Are we ready for him? Virginia? We're good? Yep. All right.
Okay, good morning, and I'd like to thank Lorain County for inviting us to the Lorain County Transportation Days. I'm Bob Weaver. I'm the ODOT District 3 Deputy Director, and I want to cover some things that are going on at ODOT. So a lot of questions we get at ODOT are related to the pandemic and how the pandemic has affected ODOT. So the pandemic outbreak caused a significant drop in volumes, traffic volumes around the state as people stayed home to slow the spread. And as you can see there, back in April of 2020, a reduction of almost 50% in traffic volumes was experienced. Now, since last May, June, things have, since things were opening up, things have been getting better, and they are trending upwards, but you can see we're not back to normal or 2019 numbers. But what I find interesting about this graph is the blue line represents cars and the orange line is trucks. So we don't anticipate a significant change anytime soon, because we think the blue line is a result of people working from home, and truck traffic is up because people are buying from Amazon and getting things shipped to their doors. So the financial impact, the reduction of the vehicle traffic has created a financial impact, of course. And as you can see here, we're over the last 13 months, we're about $280 million behind on our tax receipts. So at one point back in May and June, we were down about 33%, but overall, over 13 months for fiscal year 20 and 21 estimates, we're back behind by $280 million. Moving forward, fiscal year 2022 and 2023, we do anticipate a reduction from original projections. In 22, about 9% reduction due to traffic volumes decreasing, 174 million, and in 23, it'll be about 8%. So that's about 159 million. So to offset these reductions, ODOT has taken on a lot of initiatives to become more operationally efficient. We have a lot of teams working around the state trying to figure out how we can better perform our tasks and save money on the operational side. So, of course, the transportation budget bill has already passed and signed by Governor DeWine and is set for 22 and 23. So we have enough money to take care of what we have. As you can see right here's the allocations we anticipate, and note that safety program is still fully funded at $159 million, and so is our local programs, which affect many of you in the audience. So really got to say thank you to the Ohio General Assembly and Governor DeWine, because they 2 years ago under House Bill 62, they obviously increased the motor fuel tax, and without that we would have had a highway funding issue here in Ohio. The foresight that they had to modernize the transportation revenue formula has really helped us. In fact, our estimates include, or if we hadn't included the gas tax increase, ODOT and our local partners probably would have received about 1.2 billion less if we hadn't have changed anything. So fortunately, it was 280 million as opposed to 1.2 million. So the foresight of the governor and the General Assembly and increasing the tax really helped out. So, of course, at ODOT, safety is our top priority. And, like I said, we have not changed. 2 years ago, we infused about 50 million more into our safety program. So, and that results in 159 million each year now. But we moved up to 4th place, the largest safety program around the nation. Florida, Texas, California are still in front of us, and they're obviously much larger states. But this additional funding has allowed us to really focus in on the worst intersections we have around the state, and also help our local partners out too, but really identify those and address those sooner than later. And through all that, we have been developing some innovative delivery methods different construction practices, just to move things up on the schedule to accomplish building these 150 in a timely manner. So there's also a trend here. You know, I showed you the graph, and overall, you know, vehicle travel is down by 15%. And that's overall, that's truck and cars. But unfortunately, traffic fatalities are up. They actually rose 7%. Ohio ended the year last year with approximately 1,238 traffic deaths, and that's up 83 from 2019. So it's kind of disturbing because traffic deaths in Ohio have risen 6 out of the past 7 years, despite safer technology in our cars. Serious injuries are on the decline, and we suspect the serious injuries are reduced because people are driving newer, safer cars, and it's reducing the severity of the crashes. We also see, you know, obviously with the fatalities, we think there's a correlation between what people are doing in their cars, driving distracted. We see less people, you know, in fatalities, we see more and more a non-use of seatbelts, I should say, and distracted driving, you know, driving impaired is on the rise as well. So looking at the numbers from 2019 to 2020, we believe that these behaviors of not wearing your seatbelt, driving distracted, you know, driving too fast contribute to some of these numbers we're seeing. Pedestrian fatalities are up 38% over the year. Intersection fatalities 40%, and motorcycle fatalities are up as well. Now, if you think about it, even though traffic's down during the pandemic, more and more people were out walking, jogging, they were getting outside, getting more air, taking motorcycle rides, whatever. And that may be contributing to this too. But we really think there's a correlation between all that and specifically distracted driving. And you can see here, this is a comparison from 2020 to 2021, and the trend continues, unfortunately. Obviously, this is not a whole year of data, but we can see the trend is developing where pedestrian fatalities are up, intersection fatalities are up, motorcycle fatalities continue to rise. So what can we do about this? House Bill 283 was introduced a few weeks ago, and it's Governor DeWine's hands-free Ohio proposal. This legislation would modernize Ohio's texting law to require hands-free, and it would be a primary offense. Right now, that is not the case. Several states around the nation do have it in place, so we ODOT are a little bit behind, but what this bill would do was prohibit drivers from having any physical contact with their phones or other wireless devices while driving or stopped in traffic lanes. This means no texting, no emailing, watching video, recording video, surfing the internet, the things that distract us as we're driving. So drivers must use voice commands or single touch activation to make calls, text, use GPS. And there are some exceptions, of course, if there's an emergency or calls that need to be made during emergency runs by fire, police, and EMS. So, and that goes along with it. It's just not about texting, because we see more and more people viewing video and playing games while they're driving. They are driving distracted, and you know, the higher speeds, driving distracted, you know, driving impaired, all of these contribute to fatalities. And what other states have seen is when they have enacted legislation or law similar to this, making hands-free a primary law, they've had a reduction of it on average of 20% reduction each year in fatalities. So what that means for Ohio is that we should on average reduce 220 fatalities each year if we enact this. Some states have seen as much as a 40% reduction. So this is significant, and many of us, you know, involved in the transportation industry have, you know, obviously coworkers on the road, friends and family. I know the state, county, townships, you know, a lot of our crews, their office is on the road. And anything we can do to help them out while they're out there to keep them safer, we're definitely going to back. So just be aware of that. We'd ask you to jump on board and support this initiative to make driving a safer and our workers safer out there. So now I'm going to turn it over to Mike Fair, the ODOT District 3 construction engineer. And Mike's going to cover some construction projects around the district and specifically Lorain County. So thanks, Mike.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Good morning, everybody. As Bob said, I am Mike Fair, the ODOT District 3 construction engineer. Start off a little overview of District 3 program and then get into some specific projects in District 3. So you can see there our 2021 construction program for ODOT District 3, which serves the 8 counties in north central Ohio. We have a total of about 92 projects that will be active this construction season with a total value of about $300 million. 57 projects are new or starting in 2021 with a value of about $147 million. Little breakdown of our projects. Quite a bit of money in pavements. As Bob said earlier, ODOT's been able to maintain pretty much our funding for our projects, and District 3 has actually been very fortunate to receive good amounts of funding for some sources for our payments and safety. So quite a bit of resurfacing jobs, paving jobs throughout the district. As you see, 19 resurfacing jobs, 3 smooth seal projects, which is a hot mix asphalt used as a preventative maintenance treatment. 2 preventative maintenance projects, which are chip seal and a microsurfacing. And then as part of a major pavement replacement programs, we have 4 major pavement replacement projects that are going on this year throughout the district. That includes pretty much total replacement of the pavement through several routes. Bridges, we have 14 bridge replacement and repair projects going on, and 3 bridge painting projects which will sell this year. Likely won't get a lot of work on those till next year, but we'll be painting some bridges throughout the district. Culverts are another big one. Trying to improve our culvert inventory throughout the district. So we have 9 culvert replacement and rehabilitation projects. Many of those include multiple culverts, larger culverts spread out throughout the district. So replacement of those. And then as Bob said, with the governor's safety initiative, we do have quite a few safety projects. We have 8 intersection improvement projects throughout the district. 3 of those are roundabouts, roundabout construction projects. One of them will be in Lorain County this year, and I'll get to a little more details on that here in a couple minutes. Also, we have 2 R-cut projects. If you're not familiar with an R-cut, is a restricted crossing U-turn at an intersection. If you've ever been down to Medina County, we installed the first R-cut in our district, and I think on ODOT's system, there about 1.5 years ago in Medina County on US 224 at Westfield Road. These 2 R-cut projects will actually be constructed this year. Well, one will start this year. The other one will be completely done this year. The other one will start this year and finish next year. But those will be in Ashland County on US 30 at State Route 603 and State Route 89. So those are a good safety project for 2 high accident locations that are on US 30. Now getting into some specifics about Lorain County. As you can see, there's a map of our construction projects in Lorain County. Most of the work in Lorain County this year is focused kind of in the northern and eastern end of the county with quite a bit of work in that area. So I'll get into a little specifics here on the projects. So the first project I thought we'd just touch on a little bit is our US 20 major widening and reconstruction project in North Ridgeville. Project started in 2018, has gone through some unfortunate delays due to some utility relocations that extended out longer than what they should have. But we do see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're getting close to wrapping this job up, and we hopefully should see it completion by about midsummer this year. Currently going on, there's traffic signal, lighting and restoration work going on in the project. There's light signals and lighting being activated even as the last couple of weeks here and continuing over the next couple of weeks. Towards the mid to end of May here, we'll start seeing some pavement profiling, repairs and other prep work. And then the final surface course is planned to go down the first couple of weeks of June. That's planned to be at night. So hopefully that'll have a little less impact to traffic, and we'll surface the main roadway for hopefully the first week in June, and then work on some of the side roads and finishing up the pavement there second week of June. After that, we'll hopefully move right into the end of June there with the final striping and restoration work, and hopefully complete, like I said, about midsummer. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel for that. The next project I thought I'd hit on, driving around Lorain County on Route 2, you've probably seen this, barrels out on Route 2. This is a fairly large resurfacing job of State Route 2 from BAUMHART Road to just east of State Route 58 through Amherst there. It's about a $6 million contract with Kirkosing. They actually started last fall doing some full depth pavement repairs. Have been finishing those up this spring and are moving into some partial depth pavement repairs later this month. And then we'll move right into the resurfacing, milling and resurfacing of the roadway over the next couple months. Completion date on this is September 2021. And we do expect daytime and nighttime lane closures throughout the project, kind of depending on where you're at on the project and where traffic volumes are higher, depending on if it can be done at day or night. So a little bit of both going on there. Another pretty good resurfacing project, pretty good size resurfacing project is on I-480, North Ridgeville area, East North Ridgeville, over towards the Cuyahoga County line. It includes the resurfacing of 480 from basically where it becomes 480 at the State Route 10, 480 line there to the Cuyahoga County line. And then also includes quite a bit of ramp work at the Lorain Road interchange and also the ramps to the Ohio Turnpike. About a $3 million contract. Started construction just last month, April 2021. Started with some bridge work. Has been going on recently there. And coming up in the next about a week and a half from now, they'll start into some ramp repairs on the ramps there at Lorain Road. So there will be some short-term closures of a couple Lorain Road ramps coming up very soon. After they get some of the repairs and everything done, we'll move into resurfacing of 480 in the ramps, and the completion is expected September 2021. Also, we'll have a lot of daytime and nighttime closures on this project also. A project that actually just started last week is on I-90. It is the last set of twin bridge replacements on I-90. We've been doing those for about the last 8-10 years, upgrading some of those original bridges that were built 50 years ago. And so now we're upgrading those and widening those bridges, bringing them up to current standards. So this is the replacement of the twin bridges on I-90 over the Norfolk and Southern Railway, just west of State Route 611. The contract amount was $8.7 million. Like I said, we just began construction last week. We started out with some temporary pavement. We're currently building temporary pavement in order to maintain traffic, rebuild the shoulders, so we can shift traffic over onto them to maintain traffic. We'll be doing that for about the next month. So there'll be nighttime closures as needed, lane closures needed to, like I said, reconstruct the pavement to maintain traffic. And then probably about sometime mid-June or so, we'll move in, we'll shift traffic to the outsides and start the half-width construction on these both east and westbound bridges of I-90. Project does have a completion date of next July. We expect the construction of the bridges to extend through the rest of 2021, through actually the winter, this winter, and into 2022. And then we'll wrap up next year with some bridge painting and some final striping and pavement work. So, like I said, we will be maintaining two 11-foot lanes of traffic through the majority of the project, with just some nighttime single closures as needed for some pavement work. So as I talked about earlier, 3 roundabouts are being constructed in the district this summer. The one in Lorain County is the roundabout will be constructed at the intersection of State Route 113 and BAUMHART Road. The contract amount was about 1.5 million. If you go by this area right now, currently there's utility relocation work going on out there, which we expect to continue into June of this year. We expect the roundabout project construction to start sometime in June, mid to end of June, probably with a 70-day well, it does have a 70-day intersection closure, which will probably start shortly after the 4th of July, probably right after there or about mid-July. So we have about a 70-day intersection closure there. And so hopefully that would wrap up in around September. And then we would have some other cleanup, finish up items that would extend into the completion date in November of 2021. So again, that is a roundabout in Lorain. We are also constructing a couple other roundabouts, just to give you a heads up, in Medina County, just on Route 3, just south of Medina. And out in Huron County on Route 20, just east of Norwalk. So that's kind of major projects. Hitting on it, just to give you a little information on a couple other projects we have, several other projects we have going on in Lorain County. We do have a minor rehabilitation resurfacing project on State Route 58 in the city of Lorain. Basically, it goes from the Amherst Lorain Corp limit up to State Route up to US 6. Like I said, it's mostly a resurfacing project with some pavement repairs also, curb ramps upgrades, and some other items. And then the next project is a culvert rehabilitation / slide repair project on State Route 252 in eastern Lorain County between Squire Road and Emmons Road. That one does have a 30-day road closure of 252. And we expect that in July or August. The project actually hasn't sold yet, but that's the anticipation. Next one is a pavement maintenance project, a reactive maintenance project. Basically do some full depth pavement repairs on US 20 around Elyria there from State Route 301 to just west of 57. About $1 million projects. Traffic will be, at least one lane of traffic will be maintained at all times while we perform these repairs. This project also includes some repairs to Medina State Route or Interstate Route 271 over in Medina County. So another minor paving job, minor rehabilitation paving job is in the city of Avon on State Route 254. Last year we performed the first part of this paving job on 254, and this is the next portion more to the east in Avon there from Avon Commons to east of Nagle Road. We expect that project to be later this summer. It's about a $400,000 project. The next project is going to be a pretty major, it's a minor rehabilitation surfacing, but a pretty large project to resurface State Route 10 from the State Route 20 up to 480, and also parts of US 20 from State Route 10 to Chestnut Ridge Road. That sells later this fall, and we don't expect work on that job until 2022, but it is about a $9 million job that's selling a little later this year. The last one I thought I'd touch on is a bridge repair project that is in Lorain County. About a $500,000 contract. They've actually already started on that, doing repairs. Several structures, the State Route 301 bridge over US 20, the US 20 bridge over 57, and the US 20 bridge over Grafton Road. That will require various lane closures and some short-term ramp closures at the interchanges of US 20 and 57 and US 20 and Grafton Road. So if you see barrels and people out there working, there's just like I said, some bridge repairs of those couple structures. That kind of highlights the projects for Lorain County. So I will now pass it on to Kimberly Conklin to discuss ODOT Maintenance Forces. She is our Lorain County Maintenance Manager.
Let's start over. Am I unmuted now? Yes, thank you. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kimberly Conklin. I am the Lorain County Transportation Administrator. So I am the local contact for ODOT here in Lorain County. We are located here in Oberlin for anyone looking for us for a little bit of assistance, whether that's with our department or another department here at ODOT. And I always get this coveted spot right after Mike Fair to discuss maintenance stuff, which is nowhere near as exciting as all of those capital projects. But today, I'd like to just highlight a couple of projects on our plan, as well as a couple of new pieces of equipment we have received since the last time we talked. And what's getting to be really exciting are some maintenance research projects that we have going on. So I thought you might be interested in hearing about. As we discuss our work plan highlights, I thought I would let you know we are doing 3 culvert replacements this year. The first one will be happening here in just over a week on State Route 301 at the 11.5, which is just north of Slythe Road. You can see in this photo here that that culvert is, the bottom of it is completely shot. So you can see why that's hot on the priorities for replacement this year. One of the next culverts we will be replacing is State Route 83 at Capel Road. The culvert is actually across Capel Road, not across 83. And there's a lot of pavement issues there, some head walls that are pretty high, which is an issue for plowing as well. And we had planned on replacing this culvert the week of July 12th, but with some late breaking requests for a road closure in the village of Wellington that will be happening in July. It will affect another culvert we're going to talk about next. We're actually switching these on the program. So this particular one will actually begin the week of July 19th instead. And the final culvert on our list this year for replacement is on State Route 303 at the 5.3, which is near Pitts Road. We've got some issues there you can see in the photos. And again, with that change with detour information, this will go a little earlier. So the week prior on July 12th is when we will be completing this culvert replacement. In addition to some culvert work, we'll also be doing some pavement work. We have a week's worth of night paving up on I-90. And you can see some photos there of some of that pavement that is in need of some repair. So we'll be doing a little edge line, both eastbound and westbound, as well as a bridge approach that is in between the project that's currently going on for the railroad and then 611. A little later in the year, we will circle back around for a little more pavement work, and we will do some day work on 162, 252, and a little bit on the I-90 connector to the Ohio Turnpike. This will happen right before the Lorain County Fair. And the last project to highlight here is our number 5 catch basin repairs. You can see these catch basins are in need of a lot of love. We have 6 of these in total. This is just an example of 3 of them, but we will find those on State Route 2, State Route 113, 58, and on I-90. Last year, we did a number of these as well, and we're looking forward to getting a few more of these done. Can you say new equipment? We get super excited to get new equipment, especially if it's new equipment that makes our jobs easier and safer. This particular piece of new equipment does both that, easier and safer. This is our new MOT truck. And with this particular piece of equipment, it brings us kind of in the 21st century for setting lane closures out on the multi-lane facilities. Our folks absolutely love it, and this piece of equipment seems to be just what we were needing here in Lorain County, so we could be on the ready at all times. Another piece of equipment that we got was a piece of equipment that our mechanics really pushed for. We haven't had an opportunity to really use it yet. We will be having that out here probably in another 2 to 3 weeks with our mowing crew. It's called a Degelman. It is an attachment for our tractor, which attaches between the tractor and the mower. And the purpose of this piece of equipment is to keep the tractor on the paved surface, and then it will extend out over the grass area with the mower attached to the end and be able to mow while the tractor stays on the hard surface. This is important for those who don't know a lot about mowing, because what often happens with our tractors is they get stuck when the weather is as delightful as this right before you start mowing, or worse yet, they could actually, get sucked into the ditch and roll the tractor. So the mechanics like to see us use this a little more frequently to avoid some of those issues. The final piece of equipment that we've received is actually not a Lorain County piece of equipment, but a district-wide piece of equipment. It's called a FECON attachment. It is an attachment for a track hoe. We have had the opportunity to use it here in Lorain County already, and you may have seen this out on I-90, State Route 2, or on US 20 at this point. Now, good help is hard to find, so you're going to have to look over the finger that's in this video, but we'll get rid of it shortly. As you can see, that this piece of equipment is kind of making short work of this already dead tree. All right, my apologies. I had hoped to advance you to the end of that, but it didn't allow me to. All right, as we're moving on, maintenance research projects. That's fairly new for us to have so many, but currently we have 3 maintenance research projects that ODOT District 3 has been successful in securing research funds for. Pretty exciting. We've never had this many at one time before. But the 3 that we currently have, the first one has a nice long fancy name, but we affectionately refer to it as the Tree Project. The researcher is Davy Tree, and the goal here is the most efficient removal of dead and dying ash trees. As we all know here in Lorain County, it is a problem, and we are trying to eradicate that issue as quickly as possible. And the purpose of the research project is to determine, is there a better, safer, more effective method of doing that? Obviously, the research has some application for other type of tree work as well. The preliminary information has been evaluated, and the researcher, along with our ODOT District 3 team, which includes members of the Lorain County management staff as well, so pretty exciting, and they are prepared now to make a recommendation to the board for some equipment purchases, which will total several $100,000. If we're successful in getting those, we will be able to move to the next phase of this project for evaluating those removals. The second project, the shoulder drop-off project, we affectionately refer to as the BAUMHART project. The researcher here is the University of Cincinnati, and they are working with members of our District 3 Maintenance Department to utilize sensors that will be attached to an ODOT vehicle. We will be able to drive at highway speeds down any section of road and determine whether or not there's a berm drop-off of 2 inches or greater that exceeds 40 feet in length. Once that information is collected, the final product will include not only these sensors, but an interface that will provide us with a list type format of output to allow us to be able to schedule and ultimately complete the repairs. Not sure if anybody's tried to identify berm drop-offs at highway speeds, but it's almost impossible unless it is a pretty severe drop-off. And the third research project we have here is the Snow and Ice Simulator. This is the most near and dear to my heart because it originated here in Lorain County, and we have a number of members of our staff that are a part of this particular project. Obviously, the goal for this project is to train snow and ice drivers. For those who are in that business, you know all too well how difficult it is to train drivers when it's 90 degrees out, and how nice would it be if we could do this year round and work with some of our training. Not to mention, if we are getting new drivers who aren't very experienced with equipment in general, and then we're putting them out into $150,000 or $180,000 piece of equipment to start learning to do snow and ice activities, it's a little scary if you're sitting in the seat next to them with the instructions. So the particular simulator that we have, these are some photos. The bottom left is the trailer that the simulator is housed in. The actual simulation portion is at the nose of that trailer. And in the other 2 photos, you can actually see what it looks like to be sitting in the driver's seat. And you can also see that it is a full-sized cab, so there is the passenger seat as well. The intention for that, of course, pre-COVID, was for the instructor to sit in that seat to allow instruction. What's so exciting about this project compared to others that you may have seen online or elsewhere, most snow and ice simulator projects, well, all snow and ice simulators, with the exception of ours, are a standard simulation. So when you buy the package, you buy the simulator, it could be city streets, hills, mountains, curves, whatever, very random. Our particular project is programming routes, snow and ice routes in Lorain County. So when you're actually training a driver, you're going to be in simulation on an actual Lorain County snow and ice route. And for those of us in that business, that's really exciting. So super excited to see this project come to fruition. It has had a good delay with all of the COVID stuff, but they're starting to get back on track now. And we're hoping University of the University of Cincinnati will have a good output for us on this. And in the near term, we'll be having the opportunity to go down and see their progress. In these photos, the photo in the top left is standard simulation. So a parking lot that is in the standard package of the simulator we purchased. And the photo on the right is actually myself, yours truly, driving on State Route 82. It's a little difficult to tell where you're at there because all you see are some trees, but this was their first mile of roadway that was programmed into the simulator. And we had the opportunity to see that in late fall, I guess. So with that, that wraps up all the information that I'd like to cover for our maintenance folks, but our ODOT speakers, Bob, Mike, and myself would be happy to entertain any questions at this time if anyone has any questions about the material we've covered.
Hi, Kimberly, it's Virginia. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, wonderful. We do have a Zoom question.
Okay.
What is the status of ODOT's pollinator program?
Well, probably about half of the pollinators, I can only speak to the pollinators here in Lorain County. Unfortunately, I don't know much about statewide, but here in Lorain County, we have about half of ours that have taken and are doing well. And the other half, for whatever reason, they have really not materialized to where they should be at this stage of the game, because at this stage of the game, all of ours you should be seeing a full pollinator site. So we're currently working with central office, Joel Hunt, to have the vendor who actually did all of the plantings and the setup for us evaluate our sites to determine what additional they need. We're thinking they just need an additional reseed so that we can move those along, but currently only about half of them are doing as well as we had expected.
Kimberly, your snow and ice simulator, I've got two questions. One, what % utilization do you expect to see on that equipment? And assuming it's not 100%, is that equipment available to other entities and easily programmable for their streets?
At this point, we're expecting it to be 100% utilized because we were successful in securing over $1.5 million for this entire project, which took it from being a Lorain County project to being a statewide project. So the statewide training department are actually the owners of this project now, as opposed to Lorain County, which kind of saddened us because that's not typically how a research project works. But the fact that we had so much money invested in it and there was applications statewide, once the project went to that level, they started programming segments in District 6, so Franklin County, and also in one of the southern districts who have different topography than we have. The goal would be ultimately that all of our routes would eventually be programmed, but those won't happen as part of the research project itself. So those will have to happen after the research project, because as part of the research project, they will only fund so many lane miles. And then after that, the project, if the project is proven to be successful, which is the goal, then ODOT would need to invest in the money to do the rest of the programming. They tell me the first mile is the most expensive and the most difficult. I'm not a programmer, so I don't really know what that means. So I don't know what that would mean in terms of availability to others, in terms of having access to the program, access to the simulator. So I would say if that were ever to happen, it won't be right away because we have so many drivers that we work on training with. But I'm sure once the project is complete, all of this programming is the most expensive part. Yes, the actual simulator is expensive as well, but the programming is the largest chunk of money that we're spending. And I think once they work through some of that, it might be much more affordable for others to take advantage of this research project and potentially get their own. So.
You.
So no.
Okay, I have another Zoom question. Is there a plan to clean up debris, like plastic bags, on Route 20 from trash trucks?
I would sure hope to say yes. Unfortunately, the trash debris on Route 20, we rely heavily on the prisoners to take care of. And unfortunately, during COVID, like everything else, our prisoner program took the kibosh. We have recently reinstituted that here in Lorain County, but they have not geared back up to full capacity. And full capacity is typically 5 to 6 prisoners out daily picking up trash. And when you have that many out picking up, we're able to eradicate the trash problem pretty quickly. They've only had 1 or 2 prisoners out picking up at this point because they haven't been able to gear that program back up. So once they have done that, it will take care of the actual pickup. As far as keeping the trash trucks from spreading the debris, unfortunately, ODOT is not the police entity on that, and we're unable to control that. So any help we can get with someone else, that would be fantastic. But all we can do is kind of pick up the debris that's out there, and we do that utilizing the prisoners.
Good morning. Okay, good morning. I think, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, great. Thank you. I wasn't getting any response on my end. I appreciate that. Thank you. So good morning. I am Grace Gallucci, the Executive Director and CEO of NOACA. Thank you very much for inviting me, giving me the opportunity to address you today in Lorain County for your Community Alliance Transportation Day. Most of you know what NOACA is and what we do, but for some of you that may be newer to our organization, we are the Metropolitan Planning Organization for Greater Cleveland. We conduct multimodal transportation and environmental planning for a 5-county region that includes Lorain County. Our vision statement, which is what we use to build all of our transportation decisions, is strengthening regional cohesion, preserving existing infrastructure, building a sustainable multimodal transportation system, and why? To support economic development and enhance the quality of life in Northeast Ohio. Our organization is an organization of local elected and appointed officials, and we are structured such that we have committees, subcommittees, councils that provide various levels of advice and decision-making and recommendations to the board. This year, we have implemented 2 new committees. One is a subcommittee, equity subcommittee, that will begin July 1, and we are currently assembling that membership. And the other is the Emerging Leaders Council that just began January 1st. I, of course, couldn't mention our membership without acknowledging our board members from Lorain County. First, Matt Lundy is our president of NOACA this year. So good morning to President Lundy, County Commissioner Lundy. Michelle Hung, also a county commissioner for Lorain County. Ken Carney, Lorain County engineer, longtime member. Jack Bradley, mayor of the city of Lorain. Frank Whitfield, mayor of the city of Elyria. Kevin Corcoran, mayor of North Ridgeville, and Richard Heidecker, trustee of Columbia Township, and of course, your current president. Also a longtime board member. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention at this time or acknowledge at this time, Mayor John Hunter from Sheffield Village. Of course, Mayor Hunter was a longtime board member. And in fact, he was my first meeting when I arrived here at NOACA. So good morning and recognition to Mayor Hunter as well. So our core functions center around the comprehensive, cooperative, and continuing process for transportation. Our main functions or efforts around planning, we have a long-range transportation plan, which is generally a minimum of 20 years, a transportation improvement program, which are the first 4 years of that program, and then our overall work program, which is our annual budget. Our long-range plan was last updated in 2017, and we're currently in the process of updating it again. We have a 4-year update requirement by the federal government. Our draft ENEO 2050 is currently on the website. It opened up for public comment on Monday of this week. We, of course, have been soliciting public feedback, public input, public comment, stakeholder input comment for close to 1.5 years now. So we're very excited to bring this to closure, and we anticipate taking it to the board in June for adoption. Also, our transportation improvement program was last adopted in 2020, and that is a biannual budget. You still have time to give us your comments for the ENEO 2050 for 30 days from last Monday. So there are many opportunities for you to do that online or through very more traditional methods. Unfortunately, of course, we don't have beyond what we did on Monday, any further opportunities for in-person discussions. But let's talk about the major programs at NOACA. I don't have anything more exciting than Kimberly presented with that machine that eats your trees. I could use a couple of those to come out here and take a couple of my trees down in Shaker Heights. Many of you probably remember, must have been 2 or 3 years ago that I had this meeting with you all, and I needed to get to Lorain County, and a tree fell in my yard and blocked my driveway, so I couldn't get out. And I had to have my assistant Amy come pick me up and whisk me out to Lorain County, but I made it. But our programs, we have probably close to $35+ million annually that we allocate. Some of it is the surface transportation program. That's our biggest allocation, and then transportation alternatives program. So the first program primarily is road and bridges, as well as some transit capital and other core transportation, and then transportation alternatives focuses on bicycles, facilities, safe routes to school, and other community level improvement projects. Also, we have CMAQ, Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Program. This is about $16 million annually that we receive, and we solicit projects for this every other year as part of the statewide CMAQ program. We currently are soliciting applications. They are due May 26th. And I encourage you to get to our website, take a look at it. And if you have any questions about how to apply or what to apply, please let us know and we can guide you through that process. So how much money do we have in our TIP and what share of it belongs to Lorain County? So as a region, our 4-year TIP has close to $2 billion allocated. And of course, we will be ending that TIP this year in I'm sorry, that was the previous one, 2021. And actually, I think that's, now that I'm looking at that, that's a 4-year, but I think that's a typo. That should say 2021 to 2024 within each of those annual years. So we're at $2 million or $2 billion. And then for Lorain, it's $175 million. Also for Lorain County over that same 4-year period, we are looking at $22.5 million from specific NOACA funds. So part of the overall TIP are funds from many sources, and then Lorain County gets $22.5 million of that from us. So the 21 to 24 TIP relative to individual projects, we have Milan Avenue in Amherst, Moore Road in Avon and Avon Lake, East Broad Street in Elyria, as well as Cleveland Street in Elyria, East 36th, East 28, and Broadway, Middle Ridge Road in Lorain, North Ridge Road in Elyria, Sheffield Townships, Lake Avenue in Elyria and Elyria Township as well, Broadway and Elyria in Sheffield Township, BAUMHART Road in Henrietta, Lear Nagel Road in North Ridgeville. And many of you are probably saying, wait a minute, isn't that already done? It is already done, but we're still paying the debt on it. So NOACA did take out a state infrastructure bank loan to fund that project. So we pay the annual debt service or the annual mortgage to that. And that totals $2.6 million during the period of the TIP. We have Lake Road culverts in Sheffield Lake. Sheffield Village has Lake Breeze Road and Harris Road. So there is your total of nearly 19.7 billion. And then we also have some CMAQ projects, Washington Avenue Bikeway and citywide traffic signals in Lorain. We also have some TLCI projects. TLCI's Transportation for Livable Communities initiative. We recently took our program to the transportation, excuse me, the Planning and Programming Committee, the transportation section of that. And we are looking probably close to a third of that program being allocated for Lorain County. We have both planning studies and implementation studies. Also to share with you the impact of that program on Lorain County. We had a restart of that program in 2014. We initially launched the program in 2006. We then paused it when I arrived 9 years ago to evaluate the program along with ODOT. And we did, in that evaluation, determine that it was a very successful program for leveraging funding for additional investment in the region. So we did decide to continue the program, focus it a little bit more, but the kind of projects that we have funded since then, the City of Avon's Lake Active Transportation Plan, Jumpstart Elyria, Avon Lake Multimodal Transportation Plan, Lorain County Transit Redevelopment Plan, Lorain County Lakefront Connectivity Plan, Avon Sheffield Citywide Bicycle Plan, Envision Grafton Smart Growth through Transportation. And then those were studies. We've also funded for implementation some of those projects. The implementation grants began in 2015, actually when I believe Ted Kalo was president from Lorain County and helped us to launch this implementation program. And that includes town center crosswalk enhancements in North Ridgeville that's been completed, Lake Road Connector in Sheffield Lake that's been completed, downtown revitalization and connectivity in Elyria. That's probably our biggest project in the TLCI program. That was close to $1 million. Bicycle and pedestrian facilities connectivity for Lorain. And more recently, Envision Main Street in Grafton and French Creek Trail in Avon is also been funded. Talking a little bit more about some of the programs we have to offer, the STOP program, which is, has been created to improve air quality and reduce fuel consumption and vehicle emissions, with the overall objective there, of course, not only of air quality, reducing congestion minimizes delay time, travel time, and improves safety for all. Our GoHio commute program, which I know I saw some of your participants today that are very much engaged with our GoHio commute program. And we offer this for commuters as well as for employers and for schools. We are working very closely with the folks in Lorain County to create school pools as part of our Safe Routes to School program. Safe Routes to School, we started working very closely with communities on Safe Routes to School a number of years ago when I participated in a Lorain County Township Association meeting. And I believe the meeting, and this was probably going back 5 years now, I usually get out to those townships meeting, once a year, once every other year as I am invited. And in that particular time, some of the discussion was around what value did NOACA bring to Lake County and specifically to Lorain County and specifically to the townships. And during that discussion, it became apparent that some of the townships had applied for Safe Routes to Schools funding and had not been successful in getting that funding. And we were able to assist them and essentially turn that around a little bit. And I think that was very instructive, very informative for us on what we could do to assist perhaps those that don't have eligible roads. The townships don't have as many eligible roads as the urbanized area does for NOACA funding, but we were able to extend assistance for something like Safe Routes to School, and we formulated a much larger presence in our planning efforts for safe routes, and we continue to do that. So we actually thank Lorain County Townships folks for getting us engaged in that effort and helping us to realize what we can do to serve you better. Street supplies program, this is something that's been utilized by your county, your communities as well. It's an innovative approach for road design. When we look to make improvements to roads, it is often difficult to engage the community ahead of time because it's difficult to imagine and experience it when you're just having a public meeting or these are shown on slides. So we created a library of roadway materials that allow communities to borrow elements and then return it. And this allows the public to experience some of these roadway changes before they're actually implemented on a permanent scale. All of these efforts have been successful. And by successful, I don't mean that the public liked them all. But what I mean by successful is you knew that the public didn't like some of them before you implemented them and spent the funds to do that. And on the other hand, you had tremendous amount of support for the ones that that the public did react well to. And so I think it's made it a very positive way to get public feedback. And I will have to admit that there have been a couple situations where the communities don't want to give us back the temporary materials, but would like to keep it for a little while longer. So we've arranged that in a couple of cases, but you eventually do have to give it back, and we'll help you figure out a way to get it built in permanently. Another service that we provide to the communities in all of the counties, and Lorain County's pavement reports were presented to the communities in January. So they were dispersed, and those reports report on pavement condition, backlog of projects, recommended scenarios on how to best address those treatments and those costs. And those scenarios also allow that comparative analysis to be a what if about funding and how to best prioritize with limited funding. We also update our bike maps every few years, and we currently have a set of bike maps online that are updated. We updated the Lorain County one. I think it's probably going on 2 years now. We worked very closely with Lorain County engineer Ken Carney's office. And in fact, he really started the bike maps long before we did. And then we, in partnership with his office, put this together in a way that then was consistent with the other counties, and we could produce a regional set of bike maps. Air quality planning and trends report. The CMAQ projects are specifically to improve air quality because NOACA has responsibility for air quality as it relates to mobile emissions. And mobile emissions now are the largest source of pollutants. It is no longer industrial in our region, it is mobile emissions. So we can all work harder to educate the public and lawmakers about issues and practical ways to help clean the air. So our report, we just published it in March, and it is online. And it also has a new section that talks about the health impacts of air quality, and recognizing that air quality brings on illnesses such as asthma and many other health issues such as premature births and infant mortality, and overall the cost of these to our region relative both to quality of life and to the cost and the economics of poor air quality. Another service that we have, many of your staff utilize our GIS portal. We have this online and has socioeconomic data, pavements, bridges, locations for safety projects, traffic and bike volumes, roadway functional classification, watersheds, and so much more, including the transit and bike network. We hope and we know that actually this is very useful for some of you, and that you complete or continue to use it. That is the end of my presentation this morning. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak in front of you, and thank you very much for your partnership and your continued engagement with NOACA. Please let us know what more we can do to serve you. And again, acknowledging the service and the work of my board members. They have a very difficult job. They both have to look at NOACA in the sense of how we serve their individual communities, as well as how we look at regional efforts. And so thank you so much. Apologize for my voice. I've been sick for the last couple of days, and but I managed to get through this. That's actually why I didn't want to come out in person. I had originally planned to be there in person. I love getting out to Lorain County, but I thought this was probably not the best idea to make one of my first visits in person. So thank you, and I'll take any questions.
Hi, Grace. I hope you get well soon. I'll give you a quick update on our bike path situation and the multimodal rest station that we've and NOACA's been invested in over the years. We recently purchased the east side of the property, which doubles the park area of the multimodal. We recently put in a charging station for the electric cars, and finding out that it's the largest draw within the city of Oberlin, past the college and we'll say the Walmart development south of town. So I thought I'd, seeing that we have a number of your board members here today, is give you that quick update.
Wonderful, thank you. And actually, that's a great point about the EV charging stations. It is something that I didn't mention in my presentation, but NOACA is launching this year its EV charging station program, and we anticipate deploying about 50 EV charging stations throughout the region. We've identified locations and are working with local partners to ensure that those locations are the best for the areas, and we know there are some in Lorain County. We will be spending about $3 million to deploy them on publicly owned property, public facilities, and we hope to continue that program in the future as well. You know, I think somebody is speaking and I can't see who it is, but I can't hear any of it.
Oh,
There you go. Now that's better. I just heard whatever you said, oh, and I got that.
oh, so you didn't hear the earlier words?
I did not.
Oh, wow. This is Matt Lundy. I just paid you the greatest compliment you've ever heard. And
I can't believe it, and I missed it. You have to say it again.
We'll rewind the tape here. The executive summary was, I'm sitting here with Betty Blair, who served with you as a former county commissioner. I think she was there when you first came in, and just real complimentary about how great of a hire it was and all the work that you've done. I just wanted to echo that here today as the president of the current board, and having served on the board, not just this time around, but in the past when I worked with Mayor Bill Grace in the NOACA board in Howard at the time. I've always said that the NOACA group is some of the most intelligent people you ever find, some of the most innovative people, some of the most professional people, and people need to take advantage of NOACA, all the communities and governmental leaders. If you have questions about transportation, intersection issues, bike paths, whatever it may be, please pick up the phone, call Grace, call NOACA, certainly call my office if you want. You'll get a warm reception. You'll get a staff that's ready to help out in any way they can. So thank you for all that you're doing. I think Lorain County has benefited greatly from being a part of NOACA.
Thank you, President Lundy, Commissioner Lundy, for your kind words. And I reiterate that we are here at your service. And I didn't see Betty Blair there, but yes, former Commissioner Blair, it has been a pleasure to get to know you and hear about Lorain County's history with NOACA over the years.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Carney, County Engineer for Lorain County. Since we didn't have a transportation day last year, I figured I'd go over some of the projects we completed in 2020. We had 3 bridges replaced and rehabilitated. Whitney Road Bridge in Pittsfield Township. Project type was a bridge replacement, single span, precast concrete box. The contractor was Shermer Construction, North Olmsted of Ohio. The final cost was $1.168 million. And I'm proud to say 95% was paid by the County Engineers Association of Ohio and 5% local funds. In addition to that, Robson Road Bridge number 201 was in Carlisle Township. Project type was a superstructure replacement steel beam. Contractor was our office, material provided by US Bridge of Cambridge. Total cost was $100,000, which was 100% local funding. West Road Bridge number 1427 was located in, Pittsfield Township. Project type was a bridge replacement, single span reinforced concrete deck. Contractor was Sengus Construction out of LaGrange. Final cost was $331,000. The percentage was Ohio Public Works Commission was 74% and 26% local funding. In addition to that, we had completed 3 major roadway rehabilitation projects. Oberlin Elyria Road resurfacing, location was New Russia in Carlisle Township. Project type was a road resurfacing. That was from State Route 511 to Butternut Ridge Road. The contractor was Cargo Companies out of Stowe, Ohio. The final cost was $714,000. 80% was NWACA and 20% was Ohio Public Works Commission. Countywide chip and seal program in the year 2020, we had Lorain County administered the project for work on county and township roads. Chip and seal performed nearly 45 miles of road, of which 21 miles were county roads. The contractor was Crossroads Asphalt out of Columbia Station, Ohio. The final cost was $685,000, 50% county and 50% township. That's a joint effort that we have with that last year, and we're going to continue that this year also. Mill Ridge Road, West Ridge Road intersection improvement located in Amherst Township. Project type of widening of West Ridge Road to add a turn lane and addition of traffic signals. Contractor was Burke Construction out of Cleveland, Ohio. Current cost was $458,000. The contract amount was $486,000, which was 80% County Engineers Association of Ohio's funding and 20% Ohio Public Works Commission funding. This final work on this project was done in April this year. The final cost will come in closer to the contract amount. The continued with 2020 highlights. Other major projects completed was Elyria Township Safe Routes to School program. Location was Elyria Township. Project type was installed new sidewalk on the south side of Griswold Road from Lake Avenue to Murray Ridge Road. Contractor was Cargo Companies out of Stowe, Ohio. Final cost was $212,000, which was 100% Ohio Department of Transportation funding. These sidewalks will have a great effect on to have access to the new Elyria School that is being built. Also, the township plans to apply for more funding, so roads can be installed down Murray Ridge Road from Adelbert to Griswold. Our projects for 2021 are the following. BAUMHART Road resurfacing. Project location is in Brown Hill Township. Project description is this project consists of resurfacing of 0.75 miles of BAUMHART Road from North Ridge Road to Whitney Road. Also included are rumble strips and guardrail upgrades. Guardrail will be placed on the west side of the road just past the Blueberry Farm at a culvert that goes under the road. Anticipated start date is April 28th of 2021. Completion date is June 1st, 2021. Project contract amount is $261,000. Funding source is 100% Ohio Department of Transportation Safety Funds. Contractor is Cosin Construction out of Elyria, Ohio. The designer is K.E. McCartney and Associates out of Mansfield, Ohio. Construction administrator is OHM Advisors out of Cleveland, Ohio. Construction administrator is basically an inspection. Traffic, daily lane closures will be needed, but flaggers will maintain two-way traffic at all times. Next project we have is Vermont Road number 0127 replacement. That is in Vermont Road, is located in Pennsfield Township. Project description is consisting of the removal and replacement of Vermont Street Road Bridge. The new structure will be made of a simple span reinforced concrete deck on reinforced concrete abutments and spread footings. The start date is March 8th this year. Project contract amount is $340,000. Funding sources is 95% County Engineers Association of Ohio, 5% local funding. Contractors Ohio Contract Paving out of Parma, Ohio. The designer is my office, Lorain County Engineers. Construction administrator is H.R. Gray out of Akron, Ohio. Traffic is the road was closed on March the 8th this year. Contractor is allowed to keep the road closed for 120 days. Construction is on schedule and the roadway is planned to be open in the beginning of July. This project is a little over a mile north of State Route 18. The bridge deck is scheduled to be poured early next week. There is a probability for this project to be done up to 30 days ahead of schedule. Next project we have is Columbia West River Road resurfacing. The location is Columbia Township. Project description is consisting of widening 1.5 feet on each side of the road, resurfacing of 1.8 miles of West River Road in Columbia Township from State Route 82 to Osborne Road. This project also includes lowering of the vertical profile south of Fowley Road to improve sight distance. Start date is April 12th of this year. Completion date is August 31st of this year. Project contract amount is $993,000. Funding sources of 90% County Engineers Association of Ohio, 10% local funding. Contractor is Roniak Paving out of Burton, Ohio. The designer is Lorain County Engineers Office. Construction maintenance is K.E. McCartney and Associates out of Elyria, Ohio. Traffic is one lane on two-way traffic will be maintained throughout the project. In addition to this project, we were also awarded funding for the remainder of West River Road to be paved up to Sprague Road in the spring of 2023. In addition, Broadway widening and signals is happening. Its project location is Amherst/Elyria Township in the city of Lorain. The project description is that this project includes the widening of South Broadway at the new Carvana facility to provide a turn lane for northbound and southbound traffic into the facility. A new traffic signal is also being added at the Carvana entrance. In addition, the traffic signal at Cooper Foster Park Road and Broadway will be replaced. Anticipated date is starting is May 15th of this year. Completion date is July 1st of this year. All payment to be completed November the 15th of this year. Signals and remainder of the project will be completed. Project contract amount is $780,000. Funding sources are 37% Ohio Development Services Agency, 32% Ohio Jobs and Commerce, and 31% local funding, which is TIF money. The contractor is Prem Electric Incorporated out of Wadsworth, Ohio. Designer is Trans Systems, Cleveland, Ohio, and Kimberly Horn, Akron, Ohio. Construction administrator is K.E. McCartney Associates from Elyria, Ohio. The traffic is that the daily lane closures will be required. One lane of traffic in each direction will remain open at all times. Our completion date for this pavement was initially lined up with the opening of the facility, but they have accelerated their improvements and are moving in early. So we will now be coordinating with the construction with Carvana to minimize the impact of the traveling public. Next project we have is Stony Ridge Road Bridge number 424. Project location is in the city of Avon. Project description consists of placing a toe wall along the bottom of the arch on both abutments to provide protection against scouring. Anticipated start date is July of 2021. Completion date is October 31st, 2021. Bid amount is $226,000. The funding sources are 74% Ohio Public Works Commission, 26% local. Contractor, the apparent low bidder is Shermer Construction, North Olmsted, Ohio. Designer is Euthenix Incorporated out of Cleveland, Ohio. Construction administrator is Lorain County Engineers Office. Traffic will be one lane of traffic in each direction and will be maintained. This bridge is located just south of Avon Early Learning Center in the Avon Football Stadium. In reference, it's a sandstone arch with corrugated metal arch extensions, totally about 88 feet in length and 23 foot in span. The toe wall will be poured concrete attached to the existing footing and stream bed. Next project is State Route 113, BAUMHART Road Roundabout. Project location is Henrietta Township. Project description is that this project consists of removing the existing traffic signal and placing a roundabout at the intersection of State Route 113 and BAUMHART Road. Start date is June 15th of this year. Completion date is November 15th of this year. Bid amount is $1.5 million. Design funding is 100% Ohio Department of Transportation. Construction funding is 80% County Engineers Association of Ohio Safety Funds, 20% Ohio Public Works Commission funds. Contractor is apparent low bidder is Carvo Companies out of Stowe, Ohio. Contract has not yet been awarded as yet. The designer is American Structure Point out of Columbus. The construction administrator is Ohio Department of Transportation, and the traffic intersection will be closed for 70 days, starting on July the 5th, and detours will be posted. This intersection has traditionally been a large amount of crashes resulting in serious injuries. Roundabout at this location will require drivers to slow down and prevent any side impact, basically a T-bone crashes. Our next project we have is a countywide chip and seal program. Very successful. The project location is countywide. Project description consists of performing a chip and seal surface treatment on county and township roads throughout Lorain County. The county plans to chip and seal over 26 miles of county roads, and the participating townships plan to chip and seal 21 miles in this year. The start date is not yet has been bid. Completion date, it will be September 15th of 2021. Estimated construction cost is $850,000. Funding source is 100% local funding. The contractor is to be determined. Project is not yet bid, but the construction administrator will be our office, and the traffic will be maintained at all times. This is the 6th year we've had this program. We've done this program, which seems to be getting better every year. This year, 8 out of 18 townships are participating in the program. Next project is North Ridge Road, Milan Avenue, bridge number 712. Project location is the city of Amherst. Project description is that it consists of rehabilitating the existing sandstone arch bridge on Milan Avenue in the city of Amherst. The repairs will consist of repairing north spandrel wall, placing a toe wall to protect against scouring, drainage improvements, and various other items. Start date is May 28th of this year. Completion date is September 15th of this year. Estimated construction cost is $629,000. Funding sources is 74% Ohio Public Works Commission, 26% local funding. Contractors R&I Construction out of Tiffin, Ohio. Designer is Richland Engineering Limited out of Mansfield. Construction administrator is Lorain County Engineers Office. Traffic situation is that 75-day closure will be required. Detours will be posted. This is a sandstone arch that's located just west of the 5 Points intersection in downtown Amherst. The toe wall here will be similar to the one on Stony Ridge Road, where the spandrel wall is the head wall over the arch, and it ends, which holds back the fill on top of it. That's the essence of a spandrel wall, is the head wall with the arch ends. So the next project we have is North Ridge Road resurfacing and water main replacement. Project location is Sheffield and Elyria Township. Project description is that it consists of resurfacing nearly 2 miles of North Ridge Road from the city of Lorain to the corporation limits of 0.2 miles east of Broadway to Route 57. Also included would be the replacement of a 10-inch water main with a 12-inch water main from Elyria Avenue to State Route 57. A start date is March 24th of this year. Completion date is November 30th of this year. Contract amount is $2.5 million. Funding sources is 9% Ohio Public Works Commission, 40% NWACA funding, and 51% local sanitary engineers fund. Contractors for Breezy Trucking and Paving out of Middleburg Heights. The designer is the Lorain County Engineers Office, and K.E. McCartney and Associates out of Mansfield. Construction administrator is Greenman Peterson Incorporated out of Berea. The traffic situation is 1 lane in each direction is currently being maintained. Lane closures are expected to last through July 2021. This project began in late March with the installation of a water main. Once the water main installation is complete, the road will be resurfaced. Next project we have is Smith Road Bridge number 403, superstructure replacement. Project location is in Penfield Township / Medina County. Project description is that this project consists of removing existing concrete box beams, replacing them with galvanized steel beams on Smith Road Bridge number 403. Anticipated start date is July of this year. Completion date is August 30th of this year. Material supplier is U.S. Bridge out of Cambridge, Ohio. Material cost is $256,000. Additional construction cost is $60,000. Funding sources are 64% Ohio Public Works Commission, 18% Lorain County Engineers Office, and 18% Medina County Engineers Office. Contractor is Lorain County Engineers Office. Construction administrator will be Greenman Peterson Incorporated out of Berea. Traffic is situated that the road will be closed throughout the construction and detours will be posted. This is a joint project with Medina County Engineers Office and myself. It falls on the county line just east of State Route 301. My next information I have is the 2021 construction cost summary. Want to draw your attention to all the headings that we have under project costs, federal, state participation, OPW, my funds, township funds, and even miscellaneous local sources. All the projects are listed on the left-hand side. I want attention drawn to the total project cost of all these projects are $8.4 million. The federal and state participation is $4.4 million. Ohio Public Works Commission is $1.19 million. The County Engineers Office are participating in $882,000. Of that, 50% of that is $480,000 of countywide chip and seal program, which will be partnering with all the townships that are participating. So the 882,000 actually represents twice as much, with half of that my participation and the other half being the township's participation. Miscellaneous local sources we have on Broadway is the Broadway widening and signalization, which is transportation improvement, it's TIF funding, I'm sorry. The North Ridge Road resurfacing and water main is 1.2 million participation from sanitary engineer. And the Smith Road Bridge, number 403, has participation of $57,000 from Medina County. So our miscellaneous local sources other than ourselves is roughly $1.5 million. So we're quite proud of the fact that we're participating with partnerships with the townships, partnerships with Medina County, partnerships with municipalities. The chart that you see on our 2021 construction cost summary, we're quite proud of that. We have a participation in partnerships throughout the entire year of 2021, and we intend to continue the same situation in the upcoming years. On contact information, you can contact my office at the Lorain County Engineer's Office at 247 Hathaway. Phone number is 440-329-5586. And you can reach myself at K Carney at LorainCountyCountyEngineer.com. Well, thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions for our office, I'd be more than happy to answer them. If none, be more than happy to call my office and contact me out of the LorainCountyEngineer.com. We're more than happy to help you.
There's no sound.
Pardon? What was that? You're good? I guess I got to repeat it all again, right, Matt? All right, first of all, thank you for coming. The Mike Whitmore Award, turn it into Virginia by November 5th. The presenters were good, enjoyable, good information, and have a good day and stay warm because winter's coming back. Bye.